Hello everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about the poem On First Looking into Chapman's Homer by the great English poet John Keats. John Keats was born on October 31st, 1795 in London, England. He emerged as a prominent figure in English Romanticism during the early 19th century. Despite facing personal hardships and the loss of loved ones, including his mother and brother, he pursued his passion for poetry. He captivated readers with his evocative imagery and profound sensitivity. He published his first volume of poetry in 1817 and continued to refine his craft, producing notable works such as Ode to Nightingale, Ode to Grisdenborn, in the years that followed. Tragically, his life was cut short by tuberculosis and he passed away on February 23rd, 1821 at the age of only 25. Despite his brief existence, Keats left an indelible mark on literature, revered for his vivid imagery, rich language, and profound exploration of human experience. Before plunging into the poem, we must know a brief summary of the poem. On First Looking into Chapman's Homer, Keats celebrates the transformative power of literature, recounting his awe upon discovering George Chapman's translation of Homer's epic. Through vivid imagery and heartfelt language, Keats described the sensation of intellectual awakening and the joy of encountering new realm of imagination. This sonnet reflects Keats' reverence for classics and his belief in the transcendent beauty of art, highlighting the profound impact that great works of literature can have on human soul. To interpret and understand better, we must check a few elements for every poem, like theme, context, language and diction, structure and form, sound devices, symbolism, and of course, poetic device. Let's know about the theme of this poem. We mostly can see two intertwined themes here. Number one, the transformative power of literature. Number two, the profound impact of literature on individual. Keats recounts his experience of reading George Chapman's translation of Homer's epics for the first time, likening it to the exhilarating discovery of uncharted territory or new world. The poem celebrates the joy of intellectual awakening and the sense of wonder that comes from encountering great work of literature. It highlights the idea that poetry and art have the ability to expand one's horizon, inspire awe, and deepens one's understanding of the world. Additionally, the poem suggests the notion that true beauty and enlightenment can be found through the exploration of timeless literary masterpieces. To interpret better, we must know a little on 5 different things. First, about Keats' life. At the time of writing the poem, Keats was a young poet in his early 20s. He was deeply interested in literature and poetry, and he had a keen appreciation for the classics, particularly the works of Homer. Number 2, the Romantic movement. Keats was part of the Romantic literary movement, which emphasized emotion, imagination, and the beauty of nature. This poem reflects Keats' romantic sensibilities, particularly in its celebration of transformative power of literature. Next, George Chapman's translation. Keats was introduced to George Chapman's translation of Homer's epics by his friend Charles Corden Clark. Chapman's translation was praised for its poetic quality and has a significant influence on Keats' poetic style and imagery. Next, Exploration and discovery. The early 19th century was a period of exploration and discovery, both in the physical world and in the realm of ideas. This sense of discovery is reflected in the poem, as Keats described his experience of encountering Chapman's translation as akin to discovering new lands or celestial bodies. The final is the literary circles. Keats was part of literary cycles in London where he interacted with other writers and intellectuals. These interactions likely influenced his appreciation for literature and his desire to explore new literary horizons. Overall, the context of On First Looking into Chapman's Homer encompasses Keats' personal experiences, his engagement with the Romantic movement, his discovery of Chapman's translation, and the intellectual and cultural milieu of early 19th century England. These factors contribute to the poem's themes of discovery, wonder, and the transformative power of literature. We need to know the use of symbolism at the same time because the actual meaning is not there on the surface of this poem. The first one is Homer's work. The mention of Homer's epic symbolizes classical literature and the timeless wisdom contained within such works. Chapman's translation of Homer represents not just a literary discovery for kids, but also a gateway to profound knowledge and enlightenment. Second, Realms of Gold. The phrase Realms of Gold symbolizes the vast wealth of knowledge and beauty contained within the literary works that Keats discovers. It suggests that the exploration of literature can lead to a discovery of riches beyond material wealth. Number 3, Stout Cottage and Darien. Keats compares his experience of discovering Homer to that of Cottage, who first saw the Pacific Ocean from a peak of Darien. This allusion symbolizes the sense of awe and wonder that comes with encountering something vast and unexplored. It also suggests the idea of embarking on a journey of discovery and conquest, albeit in the realm of knowledge rather than physical exploration. Finally, Watchers of Skies. Keats compares himself to some watchers of the skies who discovers a new planet. This symbolizes the sense of awe and wonder that accompanies scientific discovery, emphasizing the idea that the exploration of literature can be as awe-inspiring and enlightening as the study of the natural world. Overall, these symbols contribute to the poem's exploration of transformative power of literature and the profound impact that the discovery of great works of art can have on individual and understanding of the world. They highlight the idea that literature and art contain hidden depth of meaning and beauty that can enrich and enlighten those who explore them. Let's interpret the poem line by line. Much have I travelled in the realms of gold. Keats suggests that he has explored extensively in the world of literature, likening it to traversing realms filled with riches and beauty. This sets the tone for the speaker's profound experience. And many goodly states and kingdoms seen. The speaker metaphorically equates the literary works he has encountered to prosperous states and kingdoms, emphasizing their richness and diversity. Round many western islands have I been. This line alludes to the speaker's literary travels, suggesting that he has explored various genres and styles of literature. Which bards in philtre to Apollo world. The speaker acknowledges the poets who are devoted to Apollo, the Greek god of poetry and arts. This line highlights the reverence of artistic tradition and the divine inspiration behind poetic creation. Oft of one wide expanse had I been told. The speaker recalls hearing about a vast expanse of literature, hinting at his anticipation and curiosity before encountering it firsthand. The deep-browed Homer's ruled as his demands. Homer, the ancient Greek poet, is depicted as a ruler presiding over a vast domain of literature. This emphasizes Homer's importance and influence in the literary world. Yet did I never breathe its pure serene. Despite hearing about Homer's work, the speaker has never experienced their true essence or purity until now. This suggests that his previous literary experiences were incomplete or lacking compared to what he has now discovered. Till I heard Chapman speak out loud and bold. The speaker attributes his newfound appreciation for Homer's works to George Chapman's translation, which is described as bold and authoritative. Chapman's translation serves as a revelation for the speaker, allowing him to fully grasp the beauty and power of Homer's poetry. Then felt I like some watchers of the skies. The speaker compares himself to an astronomer who discovers a new planet or star, experiencing a sense of awe and wonder at the magnitude of his discovery. When a new planet swims into his den. This line further emphasizes the sense of discovery and wonder experienced by the speaker, likening the encounter with Chapman's translation to the sighting of a new celestial body. Or like stout cottage when with eagle's eye. The speaker draws another analogy, this time comparing himself to the Spanish explorer Herman Cortes. Just as Cortes gazed upon the Pacific Ocean for the first time, the speaker experiences a moment of revelation and awe upon encountering Homer's work through Chapman's translation. He starred at the Pacific and all his men. Cortes' men are portrayed as witness to his awe-inspiring discovery, highlighting the shared sense of wonder and amazement experienced by the speaker and those around him. Looked at each other with a wild surmise. The phrase wild surmise suggests a mixture of astonishment and disbelief among Cortes' men, mirroring the reaction of the speaker and his companions to the newfound beauty and grandeur of Homer's poetry. Silent upon a peak in Darien. The poem concludes with the image of silence and contemplation, with the speaker likened to someone standing in awe atop a peak in Darien, a reference to the Isthmus of Panama. This final image encapsulates the sense of wonder and reverence inspired by the speaker's literary discovery. Let's know something about the language and diction on this poem. The first, formal and elevated language. Keats used formal and elevated language to convey the importance and grandeur of his experience. Phrases like "much have I travelled in the realm of gold" and "the stout cottage" elevate the tone of the poem. Imagery-rich vocabulary. Rich utilizes imagery-rich vocabulary to vividly describe this experience. Words like realm of gold, Darien, and watchers of the sky create vivid mental images, enhancing the reader's understanding of his discovery. Allusion to historical and mythical figures. Keats makes allusion to historical mythical figures such as Cortes and the watchers of the sky, adding depth and resonance to the poem. This references contributes to the sense of awe and wonderment experienced by the speaker. Metaphorical language. Keats employs metaphorical languages to liken his experience to that of explorer and astronomers. Metaphors such as "like stout cottage" and the "like some watchers of the skies" highlights the magnitude and significance of his discovery. Poetic devices. Keats incorporate poetic devices such as alliteration, assonance, and consonance to create musicality and rhythm within the poem. These devices enhances the aesthetic appeal to the language and contribute to the overall impact of the poem. Overall, Keats' language and diction in On First Looking into Chapman's Homers serves to convey the speaker's sense of awe and wonder at the transformative power of literature, while also highlighting the beauty and richness of the poetic language itself. Let's know something about the structure and the form of this poem. First, sonnet. This poem consists of 14 lines, divided into an octave, the first 8 lines, and a sestet, the last 6 lines. This adheres to the traditional structure of our Petrarchan sonnet. Second, rhyme scheme. The rhyme scheme of the octave is ABBA, ABBA, which is also typical of Petrarchan sonnets. However, in the sestet, Keats deviates slightly from the traditional rhyme scheme using CD, CD, CD instead of expected CDE, CDE. Volta. As with many Petrarchan sonnets, there is a volta or turn in the poem, which occurs between the octave and the sestet. In this poem, the volta marks a shift in focus from the speaker's initial awe and discovery to a reflection on the significance of the experience. Iambic pentameter. The poem is written in iambic pentameter, with each line containing 5 metrical feet consisting of 1 unstressed syllable followed by 1 stressed syllable. This regular meter contributes to the poem's musicality and rhythm. Enjambment. Keats uses enjambment, or the continuation of a sentence or phrase beyond the end of a line, to create a sense of fluidity and continuity in the poem. This technique is particularly evident in lines 2 and 3, where the sentence flows seamlessly across the line break. Structural symmetry. The poem exhibits structural symmetry, with the octave presenting the speaker's initial experience of discovery and the sestet offering reflection and comparison that deepens the poem's meaning. Overall, the structured form of On First Looking into Chapman's Homer contributes to its coherence and aesthetic appeal, while also serving as a framework for the exploration of the poem's themes and ideas. Let's talk about the sound devices. First, alliteration. Keats uses alliteration, the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words, to create a sense of rhythm and emphasis. For example, in the line, silent upon a peak in Darien, the repeated P sound in peak and Darien adds a melodic quality to the line. Second, assonance. Assonance involves the repetition of vowel sounds within words to create internal rhyming effects. Keats employs assonance in line like when a new planet swims into his skin, where the repeated I sound in swim and into produces a smooth flowing rhythm. Third, consonants. Consonants, the repetition of consonant sounds within or at the end of the words, is used by Keats to create subtle echoes and reinforce the poem's musicality. In the line, much have I travelled in the realm of gold, the repeated L sound in travelled, realm and gold creates a soft lyrical effects. Fourth, onomatopoeia. While not extensively used, Keats employs onomatopoeia, where words imitate natural sounds to add sensory richness to the poem. An example can be found in the line, "Then felt I like some watchers of the sky," where the word watchers mimics the sound of someone observing with intent. Rhyme. Although the rhyme scheme is consisting with the traditional Petrarchal sonnet ABBA, ABBA, CD, 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 the repetition of N rhymes throughout the poem contributes to its musical quality and serves to unify its structure. Overall, These sound devices work together to create a melodic and harmonious auditory experience for the reader, enhancing the poem's emotional impact and reinforcing its themes of wonder and discovery. Let's talk about the poetic devices. First, simile. Keats uses similes to make comparisons between different elements, such as comparing himself to some watches of the skies and stout cottage. These similes help to create vivid imagery and emphasizes the speaker's sense of wonder and discovery. Second, metaphor. Keats uses metaphors to convey deeper meanings, such as lightning Chapman's translation of Homer's works to realms of gold and a new planet. These metaphors help to elevate the significance of the literary discovery and evoke a sense of richness and novelty. Third, allusion. The poem contains several allusions to historical and mythological figures such as Homer, Apollo, cottage. These allusions add depth and resonance to the poem as they draw upon shared cultural knowledge and associations. Fourth, personification. Keats personifies abstract concepts such as when he described Homer as a deep-browed unruler as his demands. This personification imbues this concept with human-like qualities, helping to bring them to life within the poem. Fifth, imagery. Keats uses vivid imagery to evoke sensory experience and create mental pictures for the reader. For example, he describes realms of gold, western islands, and a peak in Darien, all of which contribute to the overall sense of discovery and wonder in the poem. Sixth, symbolism. The poem contains symbolic elements such as the realms of gold symbolizing the richness of literature and the watches of the sky symbolizes the speaker's sense of awe and wonder. Homer's work symbolizes Homer's classical literature and the timeless wisdom contained within such work. Stout and Cottage, where Keats compares his experiences of discovering Homer to that of Cottage, who first saw the Pacific Ocean from a peak in Darien. These symbols add layers of meaning and depth to the poem. Finally, alliteration. Keats employs alliteration to create rhythm and emphasis. Here are some examples of alliteration in the poem. Much have I travelled in the realm of gold, silent upon peak in Darien, when a new planet swims into his skin, or like stout cottage when with eagle eyes he starred at the Pacific, and all his men looked at each other with a wild surmise. Finally, to conclude, I must say that to study on first looking into Chapman's Homer, effectively consider the following clues. First, biographical context. Explore Keats' life, interests, and influences at the time of writing the poem. Consider how these personal experiences may have shaped his perspective on literature. Second, literary context. Understand the Romantic literary movement and its key themes as well as Keats's places within it. Examine how the poem reflects romantic ideals of emotion, imagination, and nature. Third, historical context. Learn about the cultural and intellectual climate of the early 19th century, including attitude toward literature and classical works. Fourth, structural analysis. Analyze the poem's form, rhyme, scheme, and meter to understand how these elements contribute to its meaning and effect. Fifth, language and imagery. Pay attention to Keats' use of language, imagery, and poetic devices. Consider how his choice of words and vivid imagery evoke emotion and create meaning. Six, themes and symbols. Identify the main themes of the poem, such as the transformative power of literature, the beauty of art, the nature of discovery. Look for symbols and metaphors that reinforce these themes. Comparative analysis. Compare Keats's poem with other works of literature, especially other romantic poems or odes. Consider how they explore similar themes or employ similar poetic techniques. 8. Critical interpretations. Read, analysis, and interpretation of the poem by literary scholars to gain additional insight and perspective. And finally, personal response. Finally, reflect on your own response to the poem. Consider how it resonates with your personality and what you find most compelling or meaningful about it. That's all. Hope it will help. Thank you very much.